Okay, so this is going to just be a response to what I made last time and a response to everything that people have responded to me with. This is a response of a response. My last video was titled Hymens and Horses, and it was about hymens and like horses and then menstrual cups and then if you want to use them, blah blah blah, like breaking your hymen, XYZ, like you see the correlation, I'm sure. So what most people responded to me with was that they understand the hymen thing and they also like agree with the hymen thing. I got a mixture of like agree and then disagree. Some people were like, well, my mom would not agree with this at all because, you know, hymens, marriage, virginity, XYZ. Some people were like, breaking your hymen is fine, but then the hygienicness, their hygiene aspect of like taking something out and reinserting it, taking it out and reinserting it, even though like you're cleaning in between. Some of the girls have also said that they would possibly consider using a menstrual cup after they get married, which, you know, I understand if it's the whole hymen thing that's stopping you. From what most people have told me, a lot of them like the idea of it. They don't like the idea of like inserting something up their vagina, but they like the idea of like all the benefits the menstrual cup can bring them. But they haven't started using them because of cultural reasons, because someone specifically told them not to, because of family, because of like all of those different things, which I 100% understand. Like, you should never do something that you don't feel comfortable doing. And then you know within yourself, like, when would be the right time to start doing something. Like, personally, even though, in my own life, like, outside of menstrual cup, because, like, you know, that is not my life, outside of stuff like this, even though I am not 100% comfortable with the stuff that I'm going to do, I know when to push myself to do them and when I know it will be worth it. And I also know when to just be like, I'm uncomfortable with this because of specific reasons and these things are not going to change. It's not worth it for me. / I'm uncomfortable with it for like legit reasons and that it's not just my brain telling me no. So therefore I will not do them. And it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum when it comes to menstrual cup. You don't want to do it, you just don't do it. If someone specifically told you not to do it and you want to respect that, then don't do it. I think all of that makes sense. What really got me started thinking about menstrual cups is that Arab girls have told me about it. Because for a long time, I think more than a year, I've seen like white people use menstrual cups. I've seen blog posts about it. I've seen YouTube videos about it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's something for you. That's something in your culture. Didn't even cross my mind for it to be something that I could possibly do. Even though I've seen like so many videos about it. I'm like interested. I'm like, but interested from afar. I'm like, okay, cool. Not accessible to me. / where do you even begin buying a menstrual cup? It's like I didn't even get that far into thinking. I was just like, well, I mean, that's something that they do. But when I saw Arab girls use it, when Arab girls were DMing me, when Arab girls were like, I read blog posts by Arabs, like everything just felt a lot more accessible to me. I was just like, oh, wait, hold on. Like, this is not just for foreigners. This is not just for people who are not from my culture. I've seen a lot of facts and figures on the internet, but I don't want to say any of those specifically because, one, I haven't had time to fact check all of them. 2, I don't have the authority to fact check all of them. Like, and then say for sure this is real, this is fake, and then also science, like, how are we ever sure what's real is real? And then 3, because I don't want to spread false information just in case. But from what I understand from the interwebs is that a significant number of girls who are virgins who have sex for the first time don't bleed. So I'm like, well, I mean, where's the guarantee that, like, I'm a virgin? You have to take my word for it. But, like, for myself, I was thinking, if I do start using the menstrual cup, who will know? Really, really, like, will anyone know? Because, I don't know, in premarital checkups, like if they check to see the intactness of your hymen, and even if it is not intact, and you're just like, yo, by the way, I'm also like a professional horse rider, they're like, oh, that makes sense, we're not going to like say anything or do anything, I don't know, like, I don't know how weird everything is. Because that, and then also, not all virgin girls bleed for the first time after they have sex. And like, at the same time, what if I just don't have a hymen if it broke like a billion years ago? Madam, how old are you? But like, what if I just don't have a hymen anymore? Like, what if it is not intact? And then, how much of my life am I trying to share on the internet? And then also, like, if this is going to be a problem for the guy that I'm going to marry, doesn't that automatically take him out of the running of being my life partner? Because, if, like, it's something like this, when you're like, you really care about the intactness of this one membrane. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, and it's just to show you that I am a virgin. He's gonna be like, yes. And I'm like, you won't take my word for it. He's gonna be like, no. And I'm like, even if he says something like, oh yeah, but my mother won't take, what? You discussed my hymen with your mother? Like, that in itself would just kind of take someone out of the running. It's like, okay, thanks, it's been nice talking to you, peace out, like, have a great life, like, find someone else. We are not compatible, because, you know, if that is a legit concern for you, then you should marry someone who also finds that a legit concern. So, like, you know, like, you guys have fun, actually do have a great life, but like I can't provide my hymen for you if that's what you care about. But then also, like, the more I'm thinking about the menstrual cup, I'm thinking, well, I don't experience a lot of the problems that other girls experience that they've brought up to me, like, throughout this discussion. Like, some girls were telling me about how they experience rashes because of the pads, and some people are experiencing, like, bleeding uncontrollably, as in, like, doesn't matter what they do, they still end up bleeding on the sheets, bleeding through their clothes, bleeding through, like, onto their shirts, and, like, it's always embarrassing. I'm really grateful that I don't have to experience that. So, like, yeah, I am very grateful that I don't have to experience that. And I do feel fairly comfortable wearing non-black jeans when I'm on my period, because, like, non-black jeans, non-black pants, or, like, lower half clothing when I am on my period. So, like, really, it's not an absolute necessity. But really, just because I don't have those, like, big problems does not mean, and does not invalidate the fact that I still feel like the menstrual cup will be more convenient to use. Like, just because I don't have the worst situation possible does not mean that I can't think about using the menstrual cup. And also, is the hymen really the barrier between me and then this, like, marginal, like, tiny piece of, like, extra comfort? I don't know how comfortable it will be. I don't know, like, at all what it's going to be like, but is this barrier, is this hymen going to stop me from trying and experiencing? And also, how much of my life am I trying to share on the internet? Again, don't know. And then I asked people to ask their mothers what they think, and then most Arab moms say the same thing, you know, like, totally, it sounds great after you get married. And it's like, I mean, what if I just never get married? You know, what if that's just a possibility? What if I don't get married? What if this is just not something that is going to happen in my life? What if I get married at the age of 40 and now I'm 21? If I would be bleeding minimum once a month for these 19 years, and then just to marry a guy who won't even care, won't even think about it, because he's gonna be like, you're 40, I'm probably around the same age, like, people still think about virginity and, like, stuff like that. What? I mean, at the same time, I don't know how 40-year-olds think about, like, that type of thing. And anyway, not the point. I understand where the Arab moms are coming from. You know, they're like, you know, like, intactness of hymen, because either that was something important in their time or it's something important in my time. I just don't talk to people about hymens enough, apparently. Or I'm talking too much about hymens. Anyway, and I understand that is a part of our culture. But at the same time, we are part of our culture, and our ideas and our personalities are part of our culture. So, like, if I do decide that this is how I think about something, then that is just automatically part of our culture. Like, it's not like it's a finite, very set in stone thing. I think something. I'm sure there's someone else who thinks the same thing. There is a certain percentage of people in our culture who think this way. And, you know, in our culture, there's also people who are not thinking about this at all, who are, like, having sex before marriage, who are gay, who are lesbian, who, like, don't fit into this, like, molds that we're being taught in school, like, ana wa ummi wa abi, like, al-usra. And what was the name of that girl, like, Menal or something, in, like, the Arabic government textbooks back when I was in first grade? I don't know. So, like, we don't all fit in that mold. What was it? Menal and Ahmed? Menal and Mahmoud? Like, I don't know. Point is that, like, we don't fit into that mold, obviously. Like, we're all very different people. I am part of the culture, and my ideas that I bring forth become part of the culture, so it's like, this whole cultural thing, I'm starting to really be like, well, I mean, if I think it's automatically part of our culture. Peace out, guys. But really, what all of this opened was a different can of worms, was that a lot of people, like a surprising amount of people, were like, Maryam, you shouldn't even be talking about menstruation in public. I'm like, whoa. Oops, did I hit a nerve? And I understand completely, because I personally have not always been comfortable talking about menstruation, and then at the same time, it's a lot easier to talk about it when you're in your bedroom, like, in a different country, and then at the same time, like, I do understand that in certain circumstances and with certain people, you obviously should not be talking about this. It's the same way how, like, if you're at a fancy gala, like, you won't be talking about, like, peeing or pooping or whatever it is, or, like, you wouldn't be, like, talking about things that are not within the realm of pleasant conversation being stuff like the weather, like, you look lovely today, like very, very, like, surface level talk. And it's like, I get it, so, like, I understand why you'd feel uncomfortable talking about it. But then what really surprised me was that people were like, you shouldn't be talking about it at all. And I'm like, even on a video where you can click away, yep, not on that video that you can click away from, like, at all. Like, I couldn't even tweet about it on my personal, like, social media account, or, like, people decide what they see on their timeline, and people decide what they don't want to see on their timeline, or people can decide to block me or mute me or unfollow me. I can't talk about it then. People are like, no. And I'm like, okay, like, I mean, if that's how you feel, like, I'm not gonna change the way you feel. I'm like, alright, cool, nice talk. And then most of them, not all, but like most of them after that, the follow-up to that was like, oh, by the way, when are you gonna make the video, like, responding to what you just said? And I'm like, so you want me to talk about menstruation? They're like, yes. And I'm like, so with me not talking about menstruation, as I reply to like the topic of menstruation, I'm going to be outlining a few products that people have told me about, just in case any of you want to try these out. There are apparently these period underwear things that have like an inbuilt pad into them. They're reusable and stuff like that. And then they like claim to like never leak. So for people who have that as like a major problem. And then also something else that is like organic period pads, disposable period pads, like again if you don't want to have to do the whole washing like تغسل blah blah blah, like that also exists. And I have a super long day ahead of me. I seriously need to study. I hope this video hasn't been too rambly and then I kind of got to the point and that you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to make sure that people know that there are options out there, that you don't have to keep using the stuff that you started using back when you were like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 11, 15, Miriam, can you count? No. Just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I gotta go. Peace out. Share, comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think, even if you still want to direct message me or like send me a message like on WhatsApp if you know me, or like on other social media platforms as people have done. And I get it, you don't want to talk about it in public, but like comment section exists in case no one knew. Alright, peace out. Bye.